Imagine being one of the best defensive players in the entire NFL, giving everything you've got on every single down, but still walking off the field with another loss. That's exactly what's happening in Cleveland right now. The Browns' defense is playing lights-out football, but it's like they're carrying the weight of the entire team on their backs while the offense can't seem to catch up. This is the story of a powerhouse defense stuck in a never-ending cycle of frustration, forced to fight from behind week after week. In Berea, Ohio, the tension is starting to show. After Cleveland's 23-9 loss to the Pittsburgh Steelers, star pass rusher Myles Garrett summed it up perfectly when asked what it's like to see other defenses play with a 2 or 3 score lead. His response was short but powerful. Must be nice. Those 3 words said it all. Frustration, exhaustion, and the quiet truth that no one on the Browns wants to admit. This season, Garrett and the Browns haven't had many chances to enjoy playing with a lead. With just 1 win and 5 losses, Cleveland's offense has kept them stuck in the same painful pattern. Through 6 games, the Browns have led for only 17 minutes and 46 seconds total. In 3 of those games, against the Ravens, Steelers, and Packers, they never even led once until the final moment of the Packers matchup, when Andre Smith's walk-off field goal finally gave them their first lead of the day as time expired. In Week 1 against the Bengals, the Browns led for only 4 minutes and 32 seconds. Against the Lions, just 2 minutes and 16 seconds after Quinshon Judkins' early touchdown. But the defense couldn't hold that brief advantage, and the Browns never led again. Their longest lead in any game this season came in the London matchup against the Minnesota Vikings, only 10 minutes and 58 seconds. Yet despite these miserable offensive numbers, the Cleveland defense remains one of the best in the league. They currently rank 3rd in total yards allowed per game at 262.3, 3rd in rushing yards allowed at 79.7, 7th in passing yards allowed at 182.7, and 2nd overall in allowing only 15.7 first downs per game. On paper, these are championship-caliber numbers. But the lack of takeaways is a major issue. Cleveland's defense has just 4 takeaways all season, tied for 23rd in the NFL. Against top opponents like the Bengals, Ravens, and Steelers, they've managed 0 turnovers. Defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz knows that part of this isn't entirely on his players. As he put it, when your team never leads, opposing quarterbacks don't need to take risks. They can throw the ball safely, run the clock down, and avoid turnovers. Without a lead, the Browns' defense simply doesn't get those big play chances. Schwartz was clear. We're not pointing fingers, but it's real life. We need to play better on 3rd down and in the red zone. That's the reality, and he's right. The Browns have been shockingly poor in those critical areas. Opposing offenses have converted 80% of their red zone chances, dead last in the league. On 3rd downs, Cleveland ranks 27th, giving up conversions over 42% of the time. But as much as the defense has room to improve, it's hard not to look at the offense. Cleveland's offense is, simply put, the worst in the NFL right now. They're averaging just 13.7 points per game, and they haven't scored more than 20 points since last December against the Denver Broncos. Their passing attack ranks 31st, averaging only 4.6 yards per play. Their ground game isn't much better, sitting at 26th with just 3.86 yards per rush. With numbers like that, even the most elite defense in the league can only hold out for so long. The offense's constant 3-and-outs, missed opportunities, and inability to sustain drives are forcing the defense to play too many snaps, in bad field position, and under constant pressure. Safety Grant Delpit summed up the feeling perfectly, saying, "We've been on our heels a little bit. Whatever situation we're in, we've got to go out there and produce. It doesn't matter if we're behind. If we're not producing, we're not producing. We've just got to be comfortable being uncomfortable at this point." That might be the Browns' new reality. Always playing catch-up, always under pressure, always waiting for the offense to wake up. But there's a glimmer of hope on the horizon. The Miami Dolphins are coming to Cleveland, and they've been struggling too, sitting at 1-5 and allowing a league-worst 168.5 rushing yards per game. If there was ever a time for rookie Quinshon Judkins to have a breakout performance, this could be it, especially with bad weather expected on the lakefront. This week could finally be the chance for the Browns offense to show some life, to help their defense out for once, and to give players like Myles Garrett a chance to actually play with a lead. Still, as linebacker Carson Schwezinger put it, the defense isn't relying on anyone else. Every time we go out there, we can't let them get the lead to start. That's the easiest way, just don't let them score points. It's the mentality of a unit that refuses to quit, even when the odds are stacked against them. But until the Browns' offense starts pulling its weight, Cleveland's defense will keep climbing uphill, week after week, fighting to stay alive in games they should be dominating. At this point, you have to feel for Myles Garrett and that Cleveland defense, putting up elite numbers while getting little to no help from their offense. The question now is, how much longer can this defense keep holding the line before the frustration boils over? Will the Browns' offense finally step up and give their defense a reason to breathe? Or are we watching another season slip away before our eyes? Let me know your thoughts down below. The Oregon Ducks have quietly turned into a nightmare for Shedeur Sanders, and not just because of Dillon Gabriel. What once looked like a promising quarterback room in Cleveland is suddenly becoming one of the biggest question marks in the entire NFL. Behind the scenes, the Browns are spiraling, and the future of both Shedeur Sanders and Kevin Stefanski could depend on how the next few weeks unfold. Unless a massive surprise shakes things up, the writing seems to be on the wall for Cleveland. By the time this season ends, the Andrew Berry era as general manager and the Kevin Stefanski chapter as head coach might both be closing. Team owner Jimmy Haslam will have 2 first-round picks waiting for him in the upcoming NFL draft, and many around the league believe he's preparing to start fresh, a complete reset of leadership, philosophy, and maybe even quarterback. To be fair, Berry and Stefanski did manage to bring some light into a franchise that had lived in darkness for far too long. Since the Browns returned to Cleveland, they had only managed 2 winning seasons and 1 playoff appearance before these two took over. Under their leadership, the team not only returned to the postseason twice, but also picked up a playoff win back in 2020, something the city hadn't celebrated since 1995. That run felt like a revival, a rebirth of hope in a place starved for football success. But as we've seen time and time again in Cleveland, hope can be fragile. The downfall began the moment the Browns decided to move on from Baker Mayfield in 2021 and hand Deshaun Watson a staggering $230 million in guaranteed money. That single decision shifted the entire direction of the franchise. Ironically, Mayfield is now playing like an MVP contender with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, while Watson remains mostly sidelined, injured, inconsistent, and viewed by many as one of the worst investments in NFL history. And now, as if history is repeating itself, the Browns seem ready to chase yet another quarterback dream. And yes, this one also traces back to Oregon. In the last NFL draft, Cleveland took 2 quarterbacks, Dillon Gabriel from Oregon in the 3rd round and Shedeur Sanders from Colorado in the 5th. Gabriel earned the starting spot, but let's be honest, his first 2 games haven't exactly inspired confidence. The offense looks stuck, the rhythm is missing, and patience is wearing thin. Realistically, it's hard to see the Browns' long-term future hinging on either Gabriel or Sanders. ESPN's Jordan Reed, in his latest mock draft, even predicted the Browns, holding the 3rd overall pick, will go back to the Oregon well and draft another Duck, Dante Moore. And this kid might be the real deal. Moore has been lighting it up this season, throwing for 1,396 yards, 15 touchdowns, and just 3 interceptions with the Oregon Ducks. At 6'3" and around 205 pounds, he's built exactly like what NFL scouts dream of. Strong arm, great field vision, and the ability to throw deep with surgical precision. NCAA insiders say Moore has all the qualities that define a future franchise quarterback, the kind of player who could finally end Cleveland's decades-long quarterback curse. But here's where things get interesting. The Browns fan base isn't ready to give up on Shedeur Sanders just yet. They've seen flashes of potential, his composure, his arm strength, and that natural confidence that runs in the Sanders bloodline. The question now is simple. Can Shedeur rise to the occasion before the front office moves on again? Because if he truly is the player he claims to be, this might be his only shot to prove it. As the Browns season unfolds, the tension will only build. The battle between Gabriel's experience and Shedeur's promise could determine not just the future of the quarterback room, but the entire direction of the franchise. And somewhere in Oregon, Dante Moore's rise might already be rewriting Cleveland's draft board. The Browns are standing at a crossroads once again, caught between loyalty, desperation, and the search for a savior. Will Shedeur Sanders rise and silence the doubters? Or will the Oregon Ducks haunt him again when draft night arrives? One thing's for sure, Cleveland's quarterback drama is far from over. If you want to stay updated on how this story unfolds, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because this saga is only getting started.